before some of the cameras come in and set up.
Oh, yeah.
All right, sir. I know there was a podium. Jordan, can you grab that, Daniel?
Yeah.
Guys, we're going to keep this very quick. I just want to let you all know that we're not going to go over time. Thank you for being on time.
That's on there.
In front?
No. I'm sorry, behind it. I just want to put this.
Yeah, absolutely. On your mark. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. We want to welcome you to the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. We want to welcome the Secretary of Education, Secretary Cardona, to the city of Birmingham. I want to express my appreciation for the Biden-Harris administration's full commitment towards historically black colleges and universities. Mr. Secretary just had a very intimate meeting with HBCU leaders, 2- and 4-year public-private HBCUs across the state, where he got a chance to share the vision and what the Biden-Harris administration is doing towards supporting HBCUs. But more importantly, he got a chance to listen to what's going on in the ground here in the state, a state that boasts the most historically black colleges and universities in our country. I'm proud of their work, and I'm proud of what the Secretary is doing on behalf of education across our nation. With that, everybody, I want to introduce you to Secretary of Education, Secretary Cardona.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes,
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Great to meet this energetic and forward-thinking mayor who recognizes the importance of education. I look forward to having the Department of Education and the mayor and his team work together to continue to provide opportunities here. Thank you for your leadership. I am very proud to represent the Biden-Harris administration here. We had a wonderful conversation with HBCU leaders to see how we can support them better as they punch above their weight and prepare today and tomorrow's leaders. It's special to do it in this amazing institute that we could learn a lot from. Tomorrow, a little bit later, we'll be engaging with the National Association of Black Journalists. I look forward to that. This visit has been great. It's beautiful to see the history and the black excellence that I've seen so far, and it's really important that as an administration we continue to support the great work of HBCUs and share what we're doing to make sure we continue to lift education as a pathway to prosperity for our country. Happy to take a few questions.
Secretary Cardona, what were some of the things that you had the opportunity to discuss with some of the HBCU leaders here today?
Well, the conversation took two different directions, right? So what are the needs? We know HBCUs have been historically underfunded. We know that despite this administration providing more funding for HBCUs than any other administration in our country's history, that there's more work to be done. So we heard how the infrastructure needs, the deferred maintenance needs need attention. But we also heard about how HBCUs are preparing our youth for the jobs of today and tomorrow. We heard about dual enrollment programs. We heard about how they're bringing students from different areas and providing counseling and giving them opportunities for success. So it was an opportunity also to hear the great work that they're doing, how this administration has been helpful, but what we could do to continue to support them. As I said before, the historical funding hasn't been equitable, yet they're delivering. So the message is, thank you, but also we are still working twice as hard to get our students prepared for the jobs of today and tomorrow. And that's a message that we need to continue to listen, whether it's increasing Pell Grants, infrastructure dollars, making sure that HBCUs have flexibility. We want them to have the same access to some of the grants that are available, some of the contracts that are available, and that's what I needed to hear from them directly. It was a good conversation. Thank you. Others? Hi.
Given the political climate in a place like Alabama, where some students wouldn't have access to reproductive health care, gender-affirming care is still being litigated, how do you make sure HBCUs here are an attractive destination for students?
Well, sadly, the Supreme Court decision to limit or to stop the use of race in affirmative action had a detrimental effect across the country. What we're noticing is many of our black students are looking at HBCUs as a place where they can go and be themselves and not have to deal with some of the not so covert attacks on black curriculum or equity in general. So that means that they need additional support, additional funding to make sure they have adequate educators and facilities to receive these students. I think at the end of the day, HBCUs are that light of hope for many students who look around our country and say, wow, it doesn't look like I'm welcome there. It doesn't look like they see my values and see what I bring to the table in these places. But HBCUs do. I told them in that meeting that yes, there are needs, but you're a sign of hope in our country, where you look at students and say, I see the potential you have, and I can give you an opportunity to grow and be your authentic selves. It's sad that in 2023, there are students that can't be their authentic selves in campuses across our country. We have a responsibility as educators to make sure our students feel welcome. HBCUs do that exceptionally well.
Secretary of
Yes.
Education, our state scores just came in on reading and math, and a large number of second and third graders are, not reading proficiently. Is this related to pandemic, and if so, what can we do to kind of bring some type of change to that?
Some of it is pandemic, but let's not blame the pandemic for lack of funding over time. Let's not blame the pandemic that Alabama's 46 out of 50 states in reading. We need to do better. We need to invest in education in the state. The federal government pays for 9% of education. 91% is state and local. You want to invest in your community, you have to invest in education. So yes, the pandemic did some of that, but we are really big on making sure that we're providing adequate funding for education, to make sure we have highly qualified teachers, make sure we're paying teachers a livable wage. We have a plan. We call it Raise the Bar, Lead the World. And basically, we're focusing on literacy, numeracy, STEM in terms of academic, but we're also focusing on mental health. We're focusing on college and career pathways, which our students need. To me, investing in education is investing in our students. And I can show you examples of where when you invest in education, it pays back many more times over. When you have an educated workforce who are making more dollars, investing in the community. So yes, the pandemic, I think, exacerbated challenges, but we have to do better. And I think it's also, to be very frank, there are attacks on public education. We want to start now splitting our money between public schools and private voucher programs at a time when our schools don't have enough funding to get our kids to read at grade level in third grade. Now we want to take money away from public schools to pay the tuitions of well-to-do families. They got it twisted. Let's make every neighborhood school a high-quality school where you'd want your own kids to go. That needs to be the focus. And, especially in our communities of color, we see schools have been underinvested in. We have a lot of work to do. The pandemic brought attention to it, but it was there. Ever since we've been collecting data, black and brown students have been underperforming. We own that. We can't blame that on the pandemic. Thank you.
What was your message to the group of students that you talked to today?
I spoke to college representatives, college presidents and leaders. My message was, look, we need you. The country needs you now more than ever. Higher education institutions have an opportunity to help our country. The president, vice president have been really pushing to invest in America. So whether that's the CHIPS and Science Act, the infrastructure plan, the climate provisions under the Inflation Reduction Act, the policy was set, and I thank the last Congress who passed more positive laws than I think since the 1960s. Now we got to implement. So now K-12 schools, 2-year schools, 4-year schools have the responsibility to make sure that our students are ready for those careers. We talk a lot about college debt. Well, we have a pathway now where students could get a credential at a 2-year school, make 6 figures instead of having 6 figures in debt. That's what the Biden-Harris team is pushing, and we're working with mayors like this one here who get it, and we're working with college presidents like those that I just met with to provide our students with more opportunities. We're investing in America, we're making in America, but we also have to invest in our schools to prepare that workforce for tomorrow. Anyone else?
What's next after when you leave here?
So I'm excited. I'm going to be meeting with, well, first of all, I want to get a tour of this amazing place. It would be unjust if I came through here and didn't get a chance to absorb the history that's shown here. I think I'm going to, is it Helen's?
Ms. Helen.
Helen's? I heard this is a spot to go to. So I'm looking forward to the Southern hospitality here has been great. And then I'm really looking forward to spending some time with the National Association of Black Journalists. I'm really looking forward to a fireside chat there and acknowledging the great work of our Black journalists at a time where this country really needs it. So a great day planned for me here. Wonderful visit. Thank you again, Mayor. And I look forward to the conversations with the Black journalists. Thank you.
That's all we have time for. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Secretary, I got to leave you.
All right, man.